Welcome back to Candidately's What's Next user conference. In this track, you will hear from Candidately customers about their experience using the product. My next guest is Daniel, the owner and executive recruiter at J. Patrick and Associates. Thank you so much, Daniel, for your time and joining us today.
Happy to be here.
Cool. Awesome. Before we dive into a few questions, tell us a little bit more about your business or yourself. I know you have a really great story.
Oh God, no pressure there. I've been a recruiter for quite a while. I started in 1987, placing mainframe programmers. I kid you not, down on Wall Street, and it was super low tech. We're talking index cards, like grandma's recipe box. And guess what? We made plenty of placements. I bought that firm the day after my 27th birthday. I came in, and the boss said, "How much?" And I told him how much, and then we're off to the races. And I've been in this business ever since, all under J. Patrick and Associates. I moved away from the developers because I got along with vendor people really well. They had a sense of urgency. They got things done, and they like to reduce steps, all of which makes recruiters very happy when you're willing to do things with 2 interviews instead of 2 to whatever power.
Yeah.
And and then I've owned this place, and I've always been looking for what I call bottleneck breakers. Like, how do I scale up? How do I reduce steps? How do I make things faster? And that's worked well for me. I grew up in
Perfect.
New York City. I
Yeah.
live about 100 miles north of there now. This is actually where I live.
Okay. Super nice. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much for those insights. And talking about uh, improving efficiencies and technology. We've been talking about your tech stack, and you're using Bullhorn for a while, and you're looking at other partners to basically help you on your day-to-day basis to be faster and better, and save you some time. What led you to think of Candidately and move forward with the product?
What's interesting is that I've been always trying to find a way other than email uh, and ATS submissions to basically get a sort of richer, better way to submit candidates, but also to get a lot more interaction, right? I'm still a phone animal. You don't sell to strangers. And so we've tried every kludgy version of this, including like Google Docs and Sheets and all that kind of stuff. And it still is never, it's always ugly. It's just always
Hmm.
ugly. And some people like it and some people don't. And the big problem is it looks like their work, every other platform they look like. And that was one of the things that really attracted me about client portals. And I looked at other client portals in the past. It just couldn't get them to work, even the ones that were integrated with Bullhorn.
Cool. Awesome. That's really great to hear. And talking about your client's experience, maybe that's a good point to jump in. And have you had experience now, obviously sharing candidates with Candidately to your clients? Any positive or negative feedback so far? How do they like it?
I would say it's about 95% positive. The other
Mhm.
5% are dinosaurs.
Got it. Yeah.
Who, there's always a small percentage of everybody, but particularly clients. Actually, the guy I just got off the phone with that I was telling you before we started recording,
Yeah.
I sent him candidly. He's like, "Oh, Dan, just send the resumes." Meanwhile, all his other managers love it because it's easy to use. All the communications there. They're not chasing emails. The presentation in this sort of enrichment is so much better than the resume, which people skim anyhow. Plus,
Mm.
what note you give, which is always fraught. So for me, being able to give them as much information the first time around with which to make a pass or no pass type of decision. I want to interview this person or no thanks. And here's why.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, recruiters live on feedback. Don't
Hmm.
tell me where the target is. I'm not going to send you any more resumes.
Yeah.
Right. So that really has been our experience so far. So mostly positive with one or
So
two exceptions.
yeah, we hear that. It's obviously across the board. So many clients that you work with, some will really like it, and you have some that are maybe some a little bit more old school and used to the way how it was. But talking about also maybe some features. So I know we've been going back and forth a lot on ideas for the product. You've been super helpful on helping us figuring out what else we should build, what other ideas could be coming up. Anything around features that you really like, or maybe things that you're missing?
I think one thing you and I had talked about from the beginning is like trying to get like basically a quickie video in. So we're not talking about production value. We're talking about like something akin to maybe Loom, where you press play hey, Bob, this is why I want you to see this guy. He's awesome, blah, blah, blah. And then send away without any real complications. And
Yeah.
I, I don't think that's hard. I don't think it's too far off. I haven't tried Loom yet, but that's one thing where
Mhm.
you get to know people too. If
Yeah.
I'm just a disembodied voice on the phone chucking resumes at you. You never get close to your customers. Whereas like they actually see you, that you're always outside their expectations, and I've heard everything. I thought you
Yeah.
had a beard. What does a beard sound like on email? I haven't gotten that, but so far that's the one thing that jumps out. And then I haven't even jumped into all the automations with Bullhorn completely yet, so I'm
Yeah.
sure there's going to be plenty of ideas coming.
Indeed. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much. No, that was super helpful. And I think I really like the Loom idea. Generally, personally, for candidly, also I send a lot of Loom videos to our customers or prospects, or generally when I have like customer conversations, and also have this little pop-up that comes up somewhere on the website where you see my face. I think that would be actually a super helpful feature when you present that candidate layer and have you basically have add additional information to that candidate versus just the written recruiter note, so to say. So that's really helpful. Thank you. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much. That was pretty much it from my side. In terms of questions, if there's any other feedback that you can give to the audience, please let us know. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining this session. This is super helpful.
Thanks, John. This has really been, the platform has been really helpful to me. I think the biggest thing that I would say to somebody who's looking at it is the tight integration with Bullhorn.
Mhm.
Right? And it I'm always looking for like I said, things to scale. But the biggest thing I tell people and the people who work for me is like list function is the big deal,
Mhm.
right? I can get a single candidate to all my managers, all my
Mhm.
clients that I have signed up with a contract, the same kind of person, just like
Great.
that.
Yeah.
The other thing you can do is you can copy that person to duplicate to another list and get them out to a specific job
Mhm.
quickly. Have a person, and obviously everybody knows it's the candidate's market, it's a seller's market now. If I can get them in front of the right people, as many of them as possible, as smoothly, without having to do a separate send out in Bullhorn every time, that is super powerful for somebody, like, at least speaking for myself, that's the way I
Yeah.
work. So, because when I talk to a candidate, I'm literally writing down the
Yeah.
ideas right away, and then being able
Mhm.
to do that very quickly, that's super.
Perfect. Super helpful. Awesome. Thank you so much. I think that will be that's super helpful for the audience to understand also your use case. I really appreciate you joining us today. Looking forward to continue working with you, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Sean. This has been fun. Have a great day.
Thank you, Dan.